But I actually uttered that phrase at ET. I'm not crying, you're crying. As at the very end of it, and I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared to cry in public at such a young age, and then have somebody call me out on it because I didn't have the capabilities to discuss what I was feeling.
What was it? They were out of popcorn or what?
All right, here we are, boys. What a fine spread we have tonight.
Yeah, John. Thanks for the delicious tinned fish.
Herring, Luke fish.
Yeah. Sardines. The finest sardines.
John has a sardine for us tonight. It's probably wouldn't find it in a dive bar, but
No, this would be an elevated dive bar experience. But I went to a very unique restaurant in Lisbon, Portugal last week, and it was a tinned fish restaurant. So it was all tinned, canned seafood. They're famous for sardines there, of course, but they had some other things as well. But so you order, they'll unfurl it on a plate with some fresh herbs, serve it to you that way, or you can, of course, purchase and take it to go. So this is some sardines and olive oil and lemon that I added the fresh herbs for you. So a little bit upscale
Very
from a
nice.
dive bar.
so
With love from
is
Portugal.
Is a tinned fish restaurant considered high end or low end?
Well,
Yeah.
I will tell you.
yeah, they're very proud of them there for sure.
you,
And you'll see
yeah.
it as an appetizer on menus at high-end restaurants.
Oh.
Sardines, tinned sardines and stuff. So yeah,
I think we've talked about this. Maybe there's a new-ish place in Iowa City called Plated Table, and Plated Table is like almost like a farm to table vibe. I think they're open 3 nights a week, and then they do some catering. But one of their things is tinned fish. Like my daughter, she's all about it,
Right.
and we go there on. It's kind of a little bit of a special occasion place. We go there for like someone's birthday, and yeah, we get sardines out of a tin. Yeah,
It's cool. Go ahead.
and I was just going to say, they're kind of going for a European, like I think they have Portuguese wines and some newer Spanish wines and some not the like historic vintage stuff from France, but just like almost craft label.
Yep.
And so it's a good vibe. But yeah,
I mean,
but
isn't like
you go there, it's like
in the United
it's not like-
States, isn't
it's
the
not like
equivalent of
chunky.
like, would you like Vienna sausages?
it's funny
How
because
about some spam?
Yeah, for sure. And you
Yeah.
see that in restaurants sometimes too, right?
It's funny because I looked at Hy-Vee just when I got back to kind of cross-reference, and of course it's canned sardines, smoked oysters,
Yeah.
King Oscar, very kind of low-end looking stuff. But
Yeah.
in Europe, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Like the markets, some of the famous food markets in Europe, almost all of them have a tinned fish
Yeah.
proprietor that's selling just canned/tinned seafood. So yeah, so there you go. There's a little snack for you to try, and
It's nice.
yeah, pairs well with a good dive bar beer,
It does.
regardless of how elevated it is.
So I think one of the most famous canned fish is the Strassentromen, which is like it's a canned fish.
Doesn't sound great.
And they it's fermented herring. Is what it is.
Okay, I'm into that.
And on the outside of the can, it suggests that you don't open it inside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it'll permeate it'll make the whole
Yeah.
entire inside smell. Like even after the can of fish is gone, it'll still smell like it. So, all right. So I'm going to try some of this sardine. You've always hear sardine pizzas. So
Oh yeah,
from Sardinia. Let's try this.
Sardinia.
see what you think.
Yeah. It's good on the crostini. It's got a nice combo there.
It's a good salty,
Yeah,
little fresh
salty.
herb on it.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for bringing
You
this. This is
bet.
nice. This is. I feel like I've gotten on a plane and traveled across the continent.
Yeah, there you go. Mix it up from our beer nuts and
Yeah.
cheese and sausage, normal offering while we're potting. So
All right, so let's talk about last weekend. We had Kevin and Bert in. A lot of people said it was our best show. I have to tend to agree. I felt like as I listened to it, we just had to like stay out of the dude's way.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
he
sure.
he had a lot to.
he's a storyteller.
Yeah, he had a lot of great stories, and we just kind of had to let him tell them. So
Wish we had more time with him, but I mean, like the quality, the content we got in the short amount of time we had. He did three tunes. I listened to it just this afternoon when I was mowing the lawn, and it was like I didn't want the episode to end. It was great.
Yeah,
Right.
And the music came out great. We
Yeah.
didn't do anything special to prepare to record music live, so I'm glad it worked out great, and our audio was set up properly for it because it was perfect.
It matched up, some of the other guests we've had as well. I mean, obviously we've had Dave Zolo, who's well-known local musician, so they have that common thread. I'm sure they've done festivals and events together. And, I learned about Kevin, the football side of it, I think I might have heard that his brother played here. Like, I kind of remember hearing that, but that he played himself and he had pretty high-level aspirations. And then how he took his drive and discipline that came from being athletic. I remember as I was listening today, he was talking about, competition in awards. I think he's up for some awards. And I wanted to not like the guy because I almost have this athlete attitude where you don't want to be friendly with your competition. Right. You want to hate them because that just makes you perform better. And he's like, I can't be like that with my musician colleagues.
He and Kebmo have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Kebmo, both of them have released children's albums.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, both of those dudes have a lot in common. I'd like to see a collaborative work out of the two of them. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but those dudes are almost cut from the same cloth as far as being awesome dudes. So
super talented.
Oh. So maybe
episode.
I think what would be fun to do. I don't know. What episode are we on now? Is this
31?
Is it that many?
Yeah.
So maybe like at 50 or something.
Right.
We bring back and do a live mic. We might have to get some more mics or figure out how to share them. But reprise some of our better guests. Get Kevin on here with Hap, with Dave Solo, with Doug. Now I think in that case, maybe we don't need mics for ourselves because we could just introduce a topic and then step away.
Craig Cermak can talk about the van they can all take to get there. That we're overdue to revisit that. We may have gotten more emails and requests for additional vehicle content from Craig Cermak than any other episode we've done. So that's another one we need to revisit.
He's got more where that came from, as we all know.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kevin. Well, as he left, this was not on mic, but he said, "Hey, give me a call when you guys start talking about NFL." So
really?
He wanted to talk about the NFL. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, and we, Hap has talked about bringing back another player or two. Maybe we get Kevin involved there too.
Yeah,
and, do a crossover episode. So
absolutely,
anyway, great stuff. A great guest, great episode.
Yeah, good guy, good show. Did you guys watch the Derby?
I did not watch the Derby.
I didn't either. I just saw clips this morning.
But that's definitely a drinking holiday.
Yes,
I was thinking of that. I mean, I actually heard a piece on the radio. I think it was on NPR, an NPR segment about people who moved down to Kentucky and Derby Day isn't, I think it's almost like a month. There's like Derby week, like things go on in schools. They're talking about how even in elementary schools that they have different competitions and the kids dress up in Derby themed outfits and so forth. And this gal was saying, I'm not from Kentucky. I'm from, she's from the East Coast or something. She's like, but we love it. They get into it. It's like, it's a whole deal. Yeah. And then you got the bourbon play. I mean, there's a lot to like there.
I think I heard 18 of the 19 horses had lineage to Secretariat.
Seriously?
Oh. Yeah. So I don't know at this point, what is considered lineage. I mean, if you're within one or two 3 to 4 generations, but that was an interesting.
Another headline, I guess, was it's the first woman-owned horse woman-trained horse, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't catch it live.
All right, boys. So this week we're going to do I don't know what to call it. A mishmanow. We're going to do
free wheel,
free hodgepodge.
Smorgasbord.
We have
Menagerie.
John's wife has picked topics out for us that are, I think, Gen X.
I believe so. It's a mystery basket.
Well,
we're going to draw one at a time out and have a little conversation about whatever's on the card.
We're going to trust Becky on this.
So John said that he had a couple people say, do a show where we have no preparation, which... which is not too difficult.
Takes me back to our school days.
That's basically all of them for me. Because Ray, you do so much lifting, and I just show up and...
So we're going to do a little, we're just going to draw it out of a bowl and see what questions Becky has for us and see if we can answer them. So the first...
I think they're just topics for discussion, so not necessarily a prose, but let's see what we got.
All right. So the first topic, interestingly enough, is the newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
Okay.
I actually worked for a newspaper for a little bit. The Centerville Daily Ouijan. I was a photographer. One of my stories was I rescued a guy. I considered rescue. He crashed his airplane in the middle of Lake Rathbun.
Okay.
And so I went out to take photos of it. That night I was taking pictures of Pam Tillis, who was
Okay.
Yeah, the daughter of who's the country singer, Mel Tillis.
Mel Tillis.
Yeah, so I was taking pictures of her. She was performing.
Is there a
kind of
backstory
pictures?
to this, or what?
What exactly kind of
I
pictures
guess
were you
I should have
taking?
led with
Right.
that.
Right.
So then I go out to take to cover this news story about this guy who crashed his plane in the middle of Lake Rathbun, and I was following. The crazy thing about Centerville is one of our pumper trucks had a hole in the bottom of it, so you could follow the fire trucks because there was water on the ground.
It was a leak, yeah.
And
That bodes well when you get
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I hope they don't have to go long for a fire.
so we were going down this road, and it was all dusty and stuff. And this guy was like walking down the road, and I thought he was going to tell me to turn around. I thought he was like, "Hey, listen, it's a 1-lane road. There's a lot of fire trucks." So I slowed down, rolled my window down, and he goes, "Where's everybody going?" I said, "There's a guy crashed his plane in the middle of the lake." He goes, "I know. I was flying it."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "Can you take me somewhere so I can call my wife?" And I said,
Whoa.
all right. So he hops in, and I did an interview with him as we were driving because there
That's
were no
amazing.
cell phones
Yeah.
or anything
Yeah.
at the time. So,
Yeah.
and so this is back when you could say, stop the presses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I called my boss and I said, "Hey, listen, I've got the guy that crashed his plane. I've got his story. And
Yeah.
I got a picture and I've got everything." And he goes, "All right." And he actually stopped the presses, and and the story was there in the morning.
Waited for you to get there?
Yeah, when people open their daily Iwegian in the morning, there was the story.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the
That's
one
pretty cool.
time. Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
the presses are like 2.5 hours away,
Yeah. Yeah.
and most of the people have it digitally. But
Well, and taking this back to Gen X type stuff with newspapers. I mean, do you get a newspaper at your house anymore?
I do not
Neither
take a
do I.
delivered paper.
No. But as a kid, did you
Oh, yeah.
thumb the paper and read the paper?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
And, I think obviously the cartoons and the comic strips I think were popular. Sunday comics were
Yeah.
huge. But the sports section
Yeah.
and the box scores, I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing I think of. Like as a kid, I remember scouring the box scores of all the games. I think I knew more about what was going on in games back then than I do now, and there's highlights on TV every
Right.
night.
Right. You had too much of it.
And then after free agency, you'd always check in on where your dude went, wherever he got traded to.
Yeah.
But yeah, the box scores were really great.
Yeah.
It single-handedly kept the Family Circus cartoon alive, because if I had to,
Yeah.
if I had to buy a Family Circus book, I wouldn't have done that. But since it was free in the newspaper,
Yeah, for sure. Did you have any favorite cartoons in the newspaper cartoons?
You mean as a
as a kid.
youth?
Yeah, as a youth.
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think what the timeline on it was, because later I was a Doonesbury guy, but that was much later.
yeah.
Well, Bloom County, I think, had
Yeah.
a huge. I mean, obviously had a huge Iowa City tie.
Yeah.
That was one of the top comic strips, for a number of years. But then I
Yeah.
always think of Garfield as coming on.
Oh,
the
yeah,
scene
Garfield,
in,
yeah, true,
the
true.
80s and just
Dennis the
dominating
Menace
it.
and Garfield are the two I remember.
Garfield was mine just because of my affection for lasagna.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Right. Garfield was a phenomenon. Garfield.
Yeah, I think so. It challenged Peanuts as the
Yeah.
top header on
I
the Sunday,
remember,
right? That was
you-
a big thing, the pecking order of
Yeah.
the Sunday cartoons.
And people had stuffed animals and
Oh,
of Garfield and
everything
pencil
Garfield.
eraser had all the gear that was super branded.
How about the Big Peach for the Des Moines Register?
Oh yes,
Yes.
That was, you wanted to see your name. Well, if you wanted to see your name in the Big Peach.
Yeah, I mean, how many people our age with the state high school basketball tournament, wrestling, volleyball, had their picture in the Big Peach, and that was cool, man. That was absolutely
Yeah.
cool. John, what was the Big Peach?
Yeah, so for our listeners that aren't familiar, the Des Moines Register Sunday edition sports section was printed on peach or light orange colored paper. So it was called The Big Peach. And I think originally the whole sports section was peach, but then it kind of pared down to the front page was peach and then the headline peach. And then they let that tradition go away,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure altogether, which is just a travesty because that was a national thing. It was famous. People knew the Big Peach no matter where you went.
So interestingly enough, the Big Peach also had real estate, and the Big Peach also had business movements. Like if
did it?
somebody was named vice president or moved up
Oh,
in
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what it did was it stood out in the Sunday paper. So if you open up the Sunday paper, you could pull that out, and that
Yeah.
was where a lot of the money went. So business is the principal, and everybody. paid the Des Moines Register
Yeah.
to run those things about the people that were promoted. So you would pull out the peach section of the Des Moines Register, and that's also where a lot of
Sure.
the ads
Yeah.
and a lot of the money was made. So
Yeah, I'll tell you another thing in the paper that was always fun was the classifieds.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was your Facebook
Yeah.
Marketplace. That was
Absolutely.
your Snapchat. All that stuff was
I
the
mean, yeah.
classified ads back in the day.
look for a job
Everything was
You
in there.
know.
I mean, it was fun just to read some of the
in
crazy
in the paper.
posts. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Well, there's even bits like wasn't it Letterman that used to do a bit around real things that were said
yes.
in I forget what it was called, but today in the poor I don't know, it's just some journalism thing, but it was
So
yeah,
I,
good.
I have a buddy that's been in the newspaper business. I think his family has been in it for like 6 generations, which is, I think predates the Civil War. But yeah, and he said one of the pieces of unspoken truth is that small town papers are doing all right. They do okay.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is they still have pictures of kids, kids in 4-H showing animals. Kids, they have
Sure.
the team photos of Little League and softball, and they have
Some
all
local
of those
coverage,
Right.
yeah.
And people still want to buy the paper. They still want to cut out their grandkids and put it in a scrapbook or put it in whatever. And the other chunk of that is interesting that the state of Iowa has it in their law that each municipality, if they have meetings, they have to have it published publicly. So if the board of supervisors or the city council,
okay.
So if they have a meeting, they have to publish the minutes of the meeting and how everything was voted upon, and the city and county have to pay for that.
Yeah.
All right.
So like if
I think
they
there's-
ever come in and say, "Hey, listen, this can be posted digitally,"
Yeah.
then some of these
might
newspapers
hurt 'em.
might hurt.
Right.
Yeah, they're still out there. All right, did we cover
Fewer
the
and fewer.
black and white and red all over?
All right, John, I'll let you pick this one out.
All right, I get to pick another topic. Okay, fast food from our childhood.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can.
What fast food did you have growing up in Washington?
We had a Hardee's. That was, I think, the main. I think that's the only place to get a burger, and then KFC were the kind of the two.
Yeah.
Eventually, late in the game, we got a Subway, but there's a Pizza Hut. There's a Pizza Hut on the 4 lanes.
Yeah, right.
So Hardee's, Pizza Hut. It wasn't until very much later that a McDonald's came, but I
Really?
think those were. We had an A&W.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was pretty solid. It was on the end of the 4 lanes. I don't know when that thing closed, but it was like a drive up.
Right. We had that too. Yeah.
And the cold mug. So that was a treat. We did not. My parents were not really go out, eat out much at all, even fast food. Then for some reason later, like in my high school years, we used to get, for some reason we always got chicken on after church. We'd go get chicken and go home and watch NFL football.
Right.
That became a thing, but we didn't go to Hardee's very often. It was kind of.
Now, what was your go-to at Hardee's? Did you go with the burger at Hardee's, or did you?
I think so. Just a regular hamburger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Hardee's was like a roast beef move. They used to have a big.
They did have roast beef. They still have big roast beef.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they had a great chicken sandwich back in the day.
They did. Mm-hmm. And Hardee's is still flame broiled.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
So they had something called the Big Twin. Like all of the stuff was different, and it was regionally different. Now it's even more regionally different because on this side of the Rockies, it's Hardee's. On the other side of Denver, it's Carl's Jr.
Oh, okay. And that's the same franchise. Same darn
franchise,
thing. Okay.
Same everything, except it's Carl's Jr.
Okay.
But yeah, we had a Hardee's growing up, and we had a KFC, and we had an
Same.
A&W.
Okay. Yeah,
And
there you go.
I will tell you, A&W had a good thing. The burgers were good. The Mama Burger, Papa Burger, Baby Burger.
And you could, you could get the drinks the same way. The
Fries were good. Shakes were good. You could get root beer mixed in. So instead of putting milk into your root beer or into your shake, you'd have root beer put into your shake. My favorite thing to do, or my parents did, was you could buy a gallon, half gallon, or a quart of root beer and take home with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you would roll up. They had your car. You would park at one of the things.
Literally roll your window, hand roll your window down, and they had that thing that
the menu had 3 different sheets, so it was contained. So you'd look out your window of your car, and then you could slide 3 physical menu.
Oh yeah.
When you're ready, you pushed a button. They came out, took your order, or some places took it from the car. You would just like talk into a microphone, and and then they would bring the food out to you. And it was still at a time where the windows were durable enough that you could set 40 pounds of food and glassed root beer outside of your window.
For sure.
So you guys didn't have the opportunity to have multiple choices for fast food at lunch like in high school, it sounds like, right?
We had a club. When I went to school, we were a closed campus.
We had an open campus, but we did not have a lot of fast food.
Did you experience like the Wendy's buffet? Remember when Wendy's for a while had like a salad bar and a chili bar and
baked potato?
They went all in on like a dine-in experience. They had like the sunroom built out to the side. That was a huge thing.
The guy from Wendy's, Dave Thomas, came, I think, from McDonald's.
Okay.
And he had a totally different idea, kind of like this family-focused idea of what to offer for fast food. Things that could be fast food, but were also healthy.
Yeah.
To this day, Wendy's still has regionally sourced beef, which gets them into a little bit of a bind sometimes. Like, I think a lot of McDonald's beef comes from Australia and New Zealand. It comes frozen. I think at one time, and maybe still is, Dave Thomas had all of the beef sourced within 2 or 3 hours of wherever it's served.
Yeah.
Which, in Iowa, there's some beef issues with the processing here. I mean, it's kind of an expensive endeavor to have, mass processed beef. So.
Well, and that's the fresh beef at Wendy's. That's why I admitted the chili they wanted to use beef before it went bad, and they were committed not frozen, and so we added the chili to use the beef. That became a huge thing, right?
I didn't know that.
Once you have raw beef, it's on a clock. It's like a 48-hour clock.
Yeah.
But once you cook it and prepare it, then the clock extends out.
Right.
So if whatever beef you have is not fried or cooked or whatever that they do, I think they're a fried facility, but if it's not made into chili or something else, they can't serve it.
Yeah.
So. Well, we've talked about it on a previous episode. I think with our food advertising, this came up, or beer advertising, but the Long John Silver's was a fast food place that really crafted an experience. Yeah. Back in, that was kind of the glory era of fast food, the 70s and 80s, and that was one of the leaders of the pack, where that was a dine-in experience.
Yeah, you talked about they had beer mugs and stuff. I experienced it not so much as a dine-in.
Yeah.
My grandparents would often get it. So when we were near, seeing them in Cedar Rapids, they had like their fish and chips.
Ottumwa was the closest one for us,
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. If you had like an eye appointment or a dental appointment in Ottumwa,
go to Long John.
Yeah, you figured you're going to Long John's afterwards.
Now, did you guys get into the Monopoly game at McDonald's, or again, were you not frequent enough flyers to like that time of year?
No, the one thing I was going to mention having to do with like collecting is I remember that our Hardees they were glass. They put sodas in it, they put whatever Diet Pepsi or Coke or whatever. But it was, I think they put like a cap on it if you went through the drive-through or whatever. But it was a glass colored thing. It was the Looney Tunes characters. Like I have a set in my bar, like my parents, and we worked hard, like as we wanted to make sure we got all the Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny.
So Hardee's was like they beat McDonald's to that.
Okay.
They had the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Hardee's also had Muppets Take Manhattan.
Oh, they did.
They had the Smurfs.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just always think, like, how would you like to be a manager of like a Hardee's and like, all right, here's 68 cases of glassware. Don't break it for the next 2 months.
You spent good money on that lead-based paint. Right. Don't break it.
What was the Stephanie got a drink last night? We went into the Wild Culture kombucha place, which I didn't really even know to bring it back to bars and dive bars.
Yeah.
I guess it's in the John informed me, you informed me. It was in the spot. It's on the location of Tuck's.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a really good drink program. I had a strong old fashioned, and Stephanie ordered something that was like what was it called? I think it had gin.
It was a gin base,
and it had Anyway, they served it in this glass 80. It looked like it was from the 80s. It was painted on. What was
it? It was Disney.
Was it Disney? Okay. Yeah. I thought it was some kind of food spot.
No, I think Disney. It was Disney's random Disney stuff because it had like the Fantasia hat. And
that's right. You were talking about Fantasia.
Yep.
So what are you
yeah,
getting there?
that's the
Tell me a little bit. So it's kombucha, but are you getting an regular old fashioned, or are you getting like?
It is. It's a cocktail bar.
It was, yeah. That's what I didn't understand. Have you not? You haven't experienced it. It was my first time in there, but just going by, I thought all you could get was kombucha there.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
That's on the sign, but it's a cocktail lounge.
Yeah, but they put kombucha in some of their. They mix it in with some of their beverages.
I'm not against kombucha, but it's if I saw that on a sign, I'm like,
skip it.
Yeah, I'll just take the shot and kombucha on the side. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Brad, take a shot in the basket.
So okay,
where we're at.
We didn't have anything more on fast food. This is drive-in theater, drive-in/theater.
Oh, drive-in/theaters.
Yeah.
They still exist.
I mean,
They do. I saw the original Star Wars at a drive-in in Dallas.
Yeah. Yep, there's one up in Door County. I've fallen asleep at a couple of times.
There's one in Macokota that's still going, and I would suggest you do it, like especially if as the days get longer, take a bunch of people. Still get, I remember us bringing like our own popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Our own pop and everything.
Yeah.
I will rehash or remind everybody that's listening before that the first time I saw Porky's, I was like 7 years old, and it was playing at a drive-in theater up in Des Moines. Like we sat there and watched it for, I don't know how long that light was, but it's forever. It's the best part. No,
you were you didn't pay to see it. You were just driving by. Yeah. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, drive-in theaters were, even at Macokota to this day, it's an event. There's people that are eating, people playing frisbee, people, a lot of them had putt-putt golf courses.
Yep.
Some of them had petting zoos. It was a real scene. But in the Midwest, it was, unless you had it tied to something else, you had 6 or 7 months.
Window.
That was really about it.
Right. Yeah, short window for it.
But following on the /theater part of that, theaters in general were an entirely different experience. The Englert was one movie theater,
right?
And later in its life, it got split into 1 and 2. But the original theater of that size and scope with a balcony, and they all had a cool glow in the dark clock, and it was quite an experience going to the theater.
If you haven't been, I'm sure, Ray, I think you have, but my hometown, Washington, Iowa, the State Theater is the longest continuously running theater in the world,
right?
And they renovated it, and it's just exactly as you described. It's got a balcony. It had the plush seats. They were pretty. It was nice and spaced out, but it had this. It was almost like you could see someone performing on a stage, and that's probably how it started, right? We're traveling theater or something, but it was an elegant thing, an elegant spot compared to like.
Well, they used to run like dollar matinees in the summer during weekdays, like old westerns and stuff.
Yeah.
We would literally get a crew, take the bus down there, and we'd play hide and seek for like all afternoon. You'd go in. That's how big the theaters were, right? And there were spiral staircases up to the balcony. Yeah, you could get a good game of hide and seek or tag going, and I'm sure that the theater employees hated us, but
some of
you
those
would do that at the Englert, you're saying, or
at the Englert and the Astro across the street from it. Yeah, both of them.
So like some of the original old theaters in the heyday of theaters, like the RKOs and the some of the theaters that were attached to the movie houses, they would hold 12 to 1,500 people. Could you imagine seeing a movie with that many people? I mean, a lot of those theaters now, they hold award shows or concerts and stuff in, but that's the whole magic of a theater, is sitting next to somebody that gets scared at the same time you do, or somebody that falls in love at the same time you do. It's kind of a group thing, but doing that with 12 to 1,500 people is just crazy. I mean, they had multiple places you could congregate.
The one I remember just distinctly was E.T., because it was such a phenomenon. It was at the Astro Theater in downtown Iowa City, and every episode of it, no matter when you went for like 3 weeks, it was packed. Just packed. It was crazy to think that many people for one show.
I don't know where the phrase "I'm not crying, you're crying" did that come from Major or League of Our Own, or I can't remember where that came from.
I'm not sure,
but I actually uttered that phrase at ET. "I'm not crying, you're crying." As at the very end of it, and I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared to cry in public at such a young age, and then have somebody call me out on it, because I didn't have the capabilities to discuss what I was feeling.
What was it? They were out of popcorn or what?
And this wasn't in a theater, but like we had to watch Old Yeller at one of our. We had to read Old Yeller, and then on the last day we like watched the movie, and like it was so embarrassing when they turned that light on, because like man, terrible to do to us. And we all knew it was, at least the people that read the book knew it was coming. So,
Oh yeah, if you had skimmed,
right.
had to be emotional in front of your classmates.
All right. So the next topic that Beck has picked out for us is school lunch.
Oh, there you go.
Right on.
A lot of ways you can go with school lunch. for
Sure.
a conversation.
Sure. I ate.
I mean,
don't
off
know.
the top, hot lunch, cold lunch, kids.
Absolutely 100% hot. I think I brought my lunch to school maybe twice in my. I ate the school on site program. That was our deal.
Okay.
We were hot lunchers.
Yeah, we were hot lunch.
I was a mix and match. You know.
I guess I was too, but
Yeah. I mean, so we would do both. So hot
d-
lunch.
Yeah.
I feel like they were pretty similar programs, no matter where you went to school in Iowa.
Yeah, they would publish what was going to be,
Yeah.
available.
Well, what
And
was the
it didn't matter to
go-to
me.
hot lunch? Your favorite?
Oh, what was my favorite? I don't know if it was my favorite, but I certainly remember the rib sandwich that was just like a stamped thing
right.
with the shape
Yeah,
of a rib.
that was good.
Yeah.
Pizza. I like pizza burgers.
Pizza burger.
I was a pizza burger guy. The big long square pizza. So that was a special day.
So, in reference to the square pizza, one of my buddies, his mom was
Lunch later.
she was a lunch lady, and
Hoagies and grinders.
Same.
hoagies and grinders. So she was a lunch lady, and much long after we had graduated high school, I said, "Who was the food service where you guys got the pizzas from?" And she said they made
they made
those
them.
pizzas.
Yeah.
I did not believe her because they were so consistent.
Yeah.
That had to have been like a Cisco or a Schwann's
Yeah,
or
They were
somebody
super
like
basic
that.
though, right? Like it was just like one ingredient, it was like
Right.
cheese and like a little bit of hamburger or something. Like they were just very,
Yes.
very
Well,
Yeah. They
So-
were basic.
minimalist. But I mean, they were great.
Yeah.
yeah, but the recipe is out there. If you want to do,
You can do
just Google, school pizza. It's all
Yeah.
out there, and it's exactly what you would expect. So the other thing that's kind of interesting, that's regional. Did you guys always have cinnamon rolls served with your
Oh.
chili?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's not
Yes.
an everywhere thing.
Yes.
That is an Iowa thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if you talk to people from Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska,
Yeah.
Illinois, Missouri, they did not have
they're two
cinnamon
great
rolls.
things that go great.
Right.
Oh, for
Whoever
sure.
came up with that, I praise them.
Right. No, I mean, it's really kind of odd, and you don't find that stuff out until like your freshman year in college, and you're sitting there drinking, and you
Yeah.
know it's like 3:00 in the morning. Somebody goes, "You know what I'd go for? It's a cinnamon
Cinnamon
roll
roll
and
and
chili
chili.
right now." I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, how about mac and cheese and Little Smokies? Did you guys?
Those
have
were
that?
good, yeah.
that was
Those
a
are good.
Often
combination
done
that was
together.
solid together.
We did
Yeah.
a lot of mac and cheese and fish sticks. That was kind of our
Oh,
thing
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Fish sticks, yeah, for sure.
Now, for the cold lunch program, you didn't do it, Brad, but right, lunch box. Were you a lunch box, a brown bag? I mean, that was a big thing too.
Yeah. What was your first lunchbox?
The very first lunchbox I had was NFL. I'll call the helmets of the NFL.
Yeah.
Mine was Space Odyssey 2010, which we've
Okay.
already we're past that, and we're still not on
Yeah.
Mars.
Well, you had to have some Star Wars lunchboxes in your day, did you not?
I had the Star
Okay.
Wars. I had the white Star Wars lunchbox with the R2D2. Yeah, we didn't always get a lunchbox every year, which was
Yeah.
a little bit of. I had the Lee Majors Fall
Oh.
Guy lunchbox.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Okay.
another
Sweet.
one of
I had a
mine.
Batman and Robin, an old school Batman and Robin one. There was a Davy Crockett lunchbox. Do you remember the Davy? I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't remember it, give that a Google search. I mean, he's
Okay.
going to town with the butt end of a rifle.
Yeah.
Some indigenous people. I mean, it's unbelievable that it was a lunchbox that you would take to school.
Right.
But
They are.
nothing really goes with a peanut butter and jelly when you're 10 years old, like
No.
something like that. But
Yeah. Did Davy Crockett die at the Alamo? I can't remember where he ended up going, but I, think it was the Alamo.
I feel like it's the Alamo.
Yeah. So maybe in the end he got what he got, but
But I also had a good kind of a craft your own lunchbox. I remember my mom got me one year, so it was like a blank slate, and you could put stickers all,
Oh,
your
yeah.
own thing, which was kind of like a trapper keeper for
yeah.
lunch, right? You
Right.
could do your own thing with. That was pretty popular. But
any more?
so no lunchbox for you ever, Brad?
I don't remember. For some reason, I remember maybe someone having a
no welcome back Cotter lunchbox.
Wasn't that the perk of being a school administrator? Is free lunches for the kids? I would write that into my job description.
No, I don't think that was no. But What was I was going to say, I remember someone having a Dukes of Hazzard one. Would there have been Dukes of Hazzard?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You would have like men's theme or boys themes and girls themes. Dukes of Hazzard for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, we were, for some reason, didn't do hot lunch, which I can't think of. It would have been like just taking it in a brown paper bag.
Right.
You know?
Very Spartan style.
Yeah. I was just going to say, for us hot lunchers, I don't know if you guys had this, but this is in elementary school. They would let the table go that cleaned their plates. So there was a whole, like you can go to recess first,
Sure,
if you clean your plate or whatever. And so there was this whole shtick around, like, if you didn't want to eat your peas or whatever it was, usually the vegetable or something like that, then you would put it in your milk carton. Kids would scoop it in their milk carton.
Sure. Did you look longingly at the kids that had like juice boxes, Star Crunches, and all these things? That
all the stuff they brought from home.
Yeah.
I remember being
name brand like Ho-Hos, Twinkies.
Real Snickers coming out of someone's brown bag.
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
over there.
Instead of the high, you're
bartering for another half of a cinnamon roll from somebody.
You'd want the brownies. The brownies were pretty good, but it was always, I don't know if they did this in your school, but they would always have one of the servers would walk around, the lunch ladies would have like this little tub, and it would just have cut in triangular sandwiches. It'd be like a butter sandwich or a butter and jam sandwich, and you could ask for a sandwich, and that was like the thing to do to supplement your meal, was to have. So for some reason they were so coveted. They were just a simple.
Well, actually, in Centerville, the same thing. You can get a jam sandwich or peanut butter, and it came in a cellophane wrapper.
Yes,
and then I could have taken it home with them and had it at night, or after school.
Oh, yeah.
So that was kind of they came in a little wrapper.
Okay,
so you just didn't get it and put it on your plate. You could have taken it with you.
Pocket that thing.
Yeah.
So I said one of the things you discover your freshman year in college when you're all drunk. This was brought up one night, and it floored me so much I got sober. Did you guys have, when you were in first through maybe even sixth grade, milk breaks in the morning? So especially like first through third, when your teacher would read you a story, did you guys have milk? So they would get the milk count. They would say white or chocolate.
Yes.
Somebody would write down.
Yes.
They would go down to the gym where the
milk time.
milk, and they would bring the crate up
back. Yeah.
And then you would drink milk while the teacher read. All right.
Yes.
They didn't do that in Illinois. They didn't do that in Missouri. They didn't do it in Nebraska. Us in Wisconsin did it.
Interesting. Yeah.
So we in Wisconsin had milk breaks, and the rest of the world didn't have that.
Okay.
And
you're right. White and chocolate. Did you guys go for the chocolate? For some reason, I just stayed white.
Oh, I went chocolate every time, dude. That's the only time I got chocolate.
Kidding?
I don't think
that.
I don't think I went for chocolate very often. Maybe. I don't know.
God wouldn't want me to have chocolate.
I don't know.
It's too much pleasure.
I have no idea.
What a square. Jeez.
Yeah.
Really quick, speaking of the milk and stuff and unique to Iowa, did you guys have like one day a year where it was like the school nurse or someone brought in the little red tabs that were like to determine if you had plaque on your teeth?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And that was quite the exercise, right? You put that thing in, and then you could look around and just determine who had the grossest mouth in the class.
Right.
Yes. It was kind of shaming you, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was shaming.
And there was like no write-off, right? It was basically University of Iowa Dental School sending a tray full of stuff down, and a nurse
like
kind of like reading the
red
page,
food
like,
coloring.
all right, I guess this is what we're doing.
You
Like,
publicly shamed.
yeah. And then after that, if it was red enough, then you were given a fluoride plaque rinse that you that you would have to go over to the rinse your mouth out. There were like 6 kids out of the 22 that had to rinse their mouth out.
Go rinse your mouth and get a scoliosis check.
All right, who's okay?
That thing that reminds me of like when there were lice outbreaks too. For some reason.
God, yes.
Like when it was a big deal because you got to put your head down, and what were they spraying something on you? Like did they like spritz you with?
I don't know if I can't remember, sprayed,
but like
I think
you would have people like going through your hair.
Yeah, the nurse would go through your hair if you had it, and you're like, and so the way our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade was, we had hooks in the back of the room, and we had place for our bags. So all of our stuff got hung in the back of the room. But if there's a lice outbreak, then everything got moved to your desk. Like your coat got put on the back of your desk. Your bag was under your feet. They kind of like separated, and then there was kind of like this, I don't trust anybody who has the lice, because they would not say who had the lice.
No.
It really didn't matter because it spread so fast.
It'd be better to know, but yeah.
It didn't matter. And then that seemed to like nobody could go spend the night at anybody's house, you know, or if somebody did have like, and like we all shared everything. We all had the same batting helmet. We all had the same catcher's helmet. We all had
totally.
We wore each other's coats sledding. We, you know, it wasn't, it didn't matter who, it wasn't a cleanliness thing. We were all just wore everything. There wasn't much of anything. So anyway, all right, should we move on to the next?
Yep. You want to draw it, Ray?
Here you go, Brad.
Brad's going to draw.
You want me to do it? The bus.
The bus.
I am assuming this means the school bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It could be the school bus.
Did you
city
guys,
bus.
did you take bus?
Yeah, I mean, it depended on where you were in school. They had most of the K-3 schools centrally located, but the 4, 5, and 6, you had a bus.
Okay.
So you were a bus to school all the time growing up?
No, I was bus grades 4 and 6. Fifth grade, fifth and sixth grade, I was in Tumwabat.
Brad, were you a bus kid at all?
No, I wasn't. I biked or walked to school.
Our town was small enough that you could get to
there. So, and I wasn't a bus kid, but it was always interesting doing the bus for a field trip, you know. It seemed like the bus kids were right at home. They like knew
the program.
Yeah,
where to
how
sit.
the windows worked
Right.
and all the things, right? And it was a foreign concept if you rode the bus once a year to the field trip. You really didn't know the lay of the land as well.
In football, you know, when you the season first started, it was hot as hell in that bus. Like you couldn't have enough windows down on the way up. And then as the season went along, it got colder and colder. So then at the last, 2 or 3 games, it would be frozen on the inside because you'd have so much humidity coming off you and so much, and you couldn't see out the bus. They'd have like 6 fans on the front window, and it was just the same bus that kids would have taken that morning to school. There was no difference.
Did you take the yellow bus like for varsity football and stuff, or did you guys get charter buses for that?
No, so we had yellow buses all the time.
Same.
The only time we had a charter bus was like one time we went to the Dome to play Keokuk. Like 2 of the most southern tiered places went to the UNI to play in a Dome. But
now, did you guys take pads? Like, was that packed separately, like for a varsity game? Did you travel with like your uniform pants and stuff on, or how did that work?
Oh, I think we did.
Because I remember taking the bus like in middle school for football, right? And you couldn't sit 2 in a seat with shoulder pads. You had to take them off. And
I think you put your football pants on, and you'd have everything but your pads and have the jersey. That's how we went down. Yeah,
that's kind of something that the Iowa City school system's going through right now because there is a budget crunch. Right, there's been some miscalculation, and we are in a spot now where there's just not enough schools that are our size. So we have to go to Des Moines. We have to travel 2.5 hours to play 4 schools.
Right.
There's a Waterloo school, and there's a couple in Davenport, but it was anytime that was over an hour or maybe an hour and a half, they would get charter buses. And now our kids are going to have to be in regular school buses.
Oh, wow.
My kid doesn't play anymore, but that was a big issue for him. I'm like, dude, don't let that get in your head. That it's doable. I know it's doable because we did it.
I mean,
And even the yellow school buses now have like air ride and stuff. I mean, it's like it's a totally different thing.
Yes.
John, I want to evoke your dad's name. Okay. I remember one time, so your dad was a school bus driver.
He was, yeah.
And one time we went downtown and we hit, I think it was for one of the clubs, like when you guys, for Fridays when you would meet.
Oh, yeah, the huddle clubs. Yeah, for lunches. Yep.
And something was going on. And we ran into about, maybe 4 or 5 kids that were maybe in high school or just out of high school, and they all knew your dad, and they all had wonderful things to say, and they were very loving with your dad.
Yeah, he loved driving school bus, and he would do those charters for like baseball and softball and those sports. Yeah, he loved his time in the bus, and he loved his City High and Liberty Lightning athletics. So he drove as many of those as he could.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, it was really nice to see that what kind of connections he made with kids and over the years. So
it's a lot of time spent. I mean, for the kids that go out in the country, did he do the country route too, or was it mainly like
his routes were mostly in Iowa City School District, in town? Yeah,
but even just the amount of time you spend with those kids throughout the year, right? When they're not I don't know, you're seeing them in a very different way, right, than the teachers do, and
for
it's,
sure.
it's
a lot of those guys, your dad,
start your day, end your day that way.
Your dad included, and a lot of those other people, like when they drove a sports team somewhere, they had to have all that stuff written down ahead of time. There was no GPS.
Oh,
like
right.
like if they went into Devonport or someplace like
Where's
that,
the
they had
school?
to
What-
know
what is it,
exactly
junior
what
high on
entry
the-
to go into. And
Yes, and I do remember Dad talking about the railroad crossings was a huge deal.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's state law. You have to stop at all. I mean, when you're traveling out of town, you don't have the reminders of where, and there was no GPS. So
Right.
that was a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
could impact your travel time quite a bit if you got into a city with a bunch of train tracks.
Right. Absolutely.
I will say something that's universal about every single person that starts driving a school buses. They all have Stanley coffee thermoses.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many times, like after a game, baseball or track or football,
sure.
you would come on and the buses smell like coffee.
Yeah.
Those guys, those men and women would like run off caffeine,
Yeah.
because they're driving at 11 o'clock at night.
My dad told one funny track story. They took a bunch of kids on a field trip to the Threshers grounds down in Mount Pleasant.
Threshers. Heck yeah.
And that is a crisscross of train tracks for those steam engines. It's
Right.
all private property.
Right.
None of the school bus drivers really knew if it was okay to drive across.
right.
So they were like, Dad said there was like 6 school buses with flashing lights on and like 20 sets of trains. They didn't really know if they could cross.
Right.
The troubles of being a the dilemma of being a bus driver.
So I'm going to put this out here. Do you think that you could be a bus driver, Brad?
No.
John?
No, my patience would not allow for that. I
I
could barely
would-
stand my kids in the back of the car with no headphones on.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it would be tough.
It's a totally different story when you're on a RAGBRAI bus, but when you're on a regular bus, there's just not. And I know why they try to rule with an iron fist, because if just a couple kids start getting out of hand, then the rest of the bus falls apart.
Totally.
I just don't
It's
think
a
I
big
could
get.
do it now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to drive a RAGBRAI bus either.
No, I wouldn't either.
Might be worse.
It might be worse.
All right, John, you're next. Go ahead and pick out our next topic.
All right. The next topic is pool days.
Yeah.
Summer pool days.
So many.
Was there a pool in Washington? And obviously there's a pool in...
Yes.
Yeah.
John, so where was your pool? I mean,
We had 2. The primary pool for us was Mercer Park because we're on the east side of town.
outdoor, indoor
It
pool.
was an outdoor pool. In its
Okay.
day, it was, it's kind of currently the parking lot for the people familiar with Mercer. That was a big pool.
Because it's an indoor pool now.
It is. It's an aquatic center, rec center situation now over on the east side of town. But back in its day, it was just a large outdoor pool.
How far away from your house was it?
10 minutes by bike.
Bikeable?
Yeah, it was a bikeable deal. That was a bike.
Brad?
Yes, big pool goer. In fact, I got the summer pass. We lived a block away from Sunset Park, and it was about a block within Sunset. I was 2 blocks from the pool.
Right.
So that was my parents'. I think it was a punch ticket
Family
type thing
pass,
or something
yeah.
like that.
No,
It's
you-
good because you had like day swims and night swims, and I would often do them both. I'd go and be there for I don't know how many hours. Like
Yeah.
we would be there
Yeah.
often. The Dunlap brothers
Really?
would roll up in our car on our
Right.
bikes, and like they'd be open and shop,
Right.
and we'd stay there until they threw us out.
Right.
And I mean, being in the hot sun, right? And
Yeah.
like swimming and stuff. Like, I just remember my appetite was always so huge. But like, we would be gone for, I don't know what it was. Come home, eat.
Right.
And then they're going to open up the night swim. I'm going to be there.
There
So
for
a
night
lot of
swim,
time.
all right.
Yeah. A lot of time at the pool in Sunset
Did you do
Park.
swim lessons at the pool?
No,
You
I
didn't
did
have
them.
to do that situation. Did you have to do swim lessons?
Are you talking about taking them or giving them?
Taking them.
I gave them. Yeah, I took
Okay.
them and gave them.
But like originally, was that felt like the earliest in the morning thing ever, and it felt like the pool was so cold.
You know why that felt like that?
Because it was.
Because it was.
Right. But that was a brutal pool memory though. Is having to get up way early.
This
over
is-
there and get in that cold water.
I'm going to have to try to figure out a way to not like roll over the top of both of you, because I was not only originally a pool rat, and that's what we called
Okay.
it, the
Yeah.
11 o'clock to 9 p.m. guy, but then I became a lifeguard.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then I became a WSI instructor.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I went from being in the pool as long as I could to having to be in the pool longer than I wanted. So it was, even when I was in college, I still taught lessons and I still lifeguarded. I lifeguarded all the way through college.
Yeah.
Once you got that WSI instructor, that was $21 every time you walked out on the deck.
I got certified lifeguard. I took all the classes. I never actually lifeguard, but I am so disappointed this day. I've never had to use a pair of jeans to make a life jacket.
That was a Boy Scout thing, but it was also a life. Yeah, no, that was also a life.
BSA lifeguard?
Yeah, so when I was a lifeguard, I think you had to be a lifeguard. You had to swim 3/4 of a mile in one thing.
Okay, yeah.
They'd picked it out, and then if you were a WSI instructor, I think it was 1.25 miles that you had to swim. And I did that all in one summer, and that was the best shape I was ever in.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But going back to the morning swim lessons, when you're a kid in high school, staying out until whatever your parents would let you stay out to, and then waking up at 5:45 to teach 6 o'clock swim lessons.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those poor kids didn't want to be there, and you didn't want to be there. I still remember this kid named Randy, and we had, usually the levels I taught were like the first 3 stations. And so I couldn't stand up at all. I was cold. So in order to be warm, I had to be underground, but I was at where those kids could still touch the bottom.
Yeah.
And I remember this Randy kid. I'm so cold and I don't want to be here. I said, neither do I, Randy.
Join the club, brother.
Yeah. And then once that kicked in, man, every hour I was there, I was like a semi driver. Every hour I was there, I was making cash. And we would do the late nights. And then from 9 to 11, we would do pool parties where you had to have 4 lifeguards there, 2 to sit and 2 off the chair.
Yeah.
And then, those were big cash too. So it's that people would pay to have pool parties.
Yeah.
And so I would be there until midnight sometime.
So a couple things. I assume the pool was the social hub in the summer for kids at Washington, or was it not so much that way?
Yeah, there were regulars. There's a group of kids who were there all the time. But yes, it was a pretty popular place to hang out.
And it was a social,
for sure.
It was a social spot not only for people that were swimming, but for people that were in cars. I mean, the cars would accumulate in the parking lots.
That's true.
People would sit out.
There's a little basketball court right outside that too, and tennis courts too. So there would sometimes be pickup basketball going on while others were in the
How was the pool concession situation in Washington?
I don't remember very well.
Really?
I mean, they definitely had something, but you
didn't bomb pops and stuff like that was not a thing that
I don't remember.
You ate mass?
I don't remember.
Okay.
All of
I think it was just maybe you get a candy bar or a bag of chips. It was really simple.
All of our stuff, when there was nothing prepared, there wasn't a popcorn or anything like that. Nothing plugged in. It was all wrapped candies and stuff like that, candy bars and stuff like that. We did have somebody that oversaw, a kid that would oversee the snack shack, but the lifeguards would have to take one pull out of the day at the snack shack. And there is absolutely nothing like having a kid roll up in a wet sock, and empty out $5 and then $12 and a scattered amount of change. What can I buy with this?
Yeah.
You buy a lot, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you'd always say, hey, you know what? You could buy a Snickers bar, and you could also buy me a Mountain Dew. So then, some of the pool rats would tip you a Mountain Dew if they were feeling big.
There you go.
Was there anything more refreshing than that mandatory shower before you went to the pool deck?
Oh, Jesus. So that's actually important. I mean, our pool was big enough that it wasn't as important, but it was still, there's enough communicable diseases. But one summer, we had a pooper.
Okay. Oh.
And we had somebody that would regularly poop in the shower room.
Oh, I thought you were saying in the pool.
No, they would poop in the shower room, and that had to be taken care of just like it was hazmat. It was, man. There was a 2-person job. We had to clear it out. Somebody had to clean the poop. We had to get this shock chlorinated system
and just blast it.
Right. Yeah, and they did it on the regular, a couple times a week.
Damn.
So it got to the point where we'd have to have people go through the locker room. It was a dude. It was a kid. It was one of the kids. I assume it was a kid, not a dad, but I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, that showering all your impetigo off, I guess. I don't know what the shower was about, but
Yeah.
But anyway, no, it was great, and you had a great tan, and
I was a little surprised you were able to do pool night, like night session, because didn't you have baseball? That's why we never did the night session, because we always had baseball in the summer.
I definitely had baseball, but I
Didn't impact pool time.
I mean, yeah.
we had coaches that wouldn't let us swim on game day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense, I think, a little bit.
I don't know if it does, but they did. They were like,
Yeah.
nope, we're not gonna. If we're focused on the championship, nobody's swimming. Not on game day. You can go after. There's enough time to swim afterward.
There are certain things that make your legs tired. Pool's one of them.
I guess. I will tell you one of my fondest memories. I never had to save anybody, but one of my fondest memories is we had a person. So we always had an adult, and most of the time it was a college kid that would apply for the job, like in sometime in April. So and the city was responsible for filling it up and making sure all the chlorination works and everything. So all they had to do was come in and manage the lifeguards. So anyway, we had a. I think her name was Kristen, who oversaw the pool that year. And she had to take a day. She was in college. We were in high school. She had to take a day. And so at the very high level, it was decided that we were going to have a manager.
Yeah.
Somebody that was going to call all the shots. And it was all the best lifeguards. It was all the most responsible lifeguards. It was the cream of the crop lifeguards that were going to take responsible on this day.
The Baywatch of
The
Centerville.
Baywatch of Centerville.
Right. The creme de.
Did you ever ride Speedo in these days?
It was a board short. It was definitely OP season every day. The OP was big then.
Hell yes.
So the pool opened up at 11. Yeah, so it opened up at 11, and everything was going swimmingly. Everybody thought it was a great decision. And at 1 o'clock, this grown woman on the deck chose to breastfeed on the deck.
Okay.
And there was a complaint. And it was by another adult. And action had to be taken.
You had to do something.
And we really didn't have the facilities about us.
Right.
Like what to do. This was definitely somebody that had a lot more, capability. Somebody that had taken a couple college classes.
Crazy. I'm going to monitor this with my binoculars. Keep close tabs on this.
Which one is it? Oh, yes. So anyway, she had 2 kids, and the problem was she wasn't breastfeeding a baby; she was breastfeeding like a 4-year-old.
Oh, whoa.
I thought you were going to say a lifeguard.
She was breastfeeding my buddy Jason.
Legend.
Yeah.
So anyway, so somebody called their parent. And like, what do we do? And like, you probably need to call Sharon.
Yeah.
Sharon up at the courthouse.
Yeah. That's
Jeez.
the drama. Lifeguarding. Well, were the Dunlap boys, were you this? That was a big thing in the day. If your parents bought you a Speedo or board shorts, were the Dunlap boys all? Yeah, I'm sure you're Speedo people.
I don't remember. No, we weren't.
Oh,
Yeah, you were board shorts.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that was really great about our pool was we had 2 speakers outside of our pool, which we would tell people when their parents were there. We tell all the kids to get out of the pool because it was adult swim.
Pool check.
There was lightning
Check
in the
the
area.
safety
pool
guard.
check. Everybody out of the side. Everybody out of the pool and onto the side. Everybody out of the pool and onto the side. But the other thing we would do, we had a stereo receiver in there. I want to say it was something nice, like a Marantz or a Carver or something like that, Pioneer. And we had one of those microphones that you'd have to push down, like you would have like at a high school to do the announcements. It was just like that, except you would clamp it down with like a hair clamp, and then you would lay it in front of the speaker, and then the music would broadcast over the top of the pool.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we broadcasted our music, was the same microphone that you would tell Lindsay Stevens that her parents were here to pick her up was also broadcasting Led Zeppelin. And but the pool, man, that was the best place in the world for music.
Oh, that's there are songs to this day that, when I hear them, it just takes me there. So yeah, the pool was really the soundtrack of summer for me. There's so many tunes out there that I just remember.
Right.
And that era, just that music at the time. But like what was on.
And they had
the radio.
DJs. You kind of got in relationships with the DJs, the on-air personality. It wasn't some computer in some closet somewhere spinning. It was actually somebody on a microphone, talking about what it's like in Des Moines, and their KGGO, or the State Fair was coming up, or there was a huge concert.
Yeah.
So did you take your own radio to the pool, or did they play music for you on the radio?
They played it.
They did?
They
That's
played
cool.
it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was just a hookup. It was like a hookup in the,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like what brings you back, Brad? What are some of your summer songs?
Oh man, I've got a bunch of these on my my playlist that I listen to when I'm mowing the lawn usually. So a lot of Fleetwood Mac. For whatever reason, there's a lot of Fleetwood. There was REO Speedwagon.
Yeah,
Journey.
Super Gen X right there, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the Eddie Money.
Yeah, Take Me Home Tonight.
When I hear an Eddie Money song, I think of the pool. Jay Giles Band, Centerfold.
Yeah.
Now, did your pool? Is that like all the way through high school? What time stamp did you guys do the pool? And did you have a beach lake situation when you got older, or was it all
The closest thing folks from Washington did was went over to Lake Darling in Brighton, Iowa. There was a little sand beach. It was like a little No, not a real, what you would consider a real beach, but you could do outdoor, and some people did, but it was much more typical to do it, I guess, just to go to the city pool. But
we had a huge lake Rathbun, and a lot of dudes actually had boats. They didn't have cars, but they had boats, Rathbun had like 3 big beaches, and there would people come from everywhere, Tumwa, Albia, Centerville, and they would come from along, and there would be huge boats, and people would, have beach parties. Yeah. So it was kind of crazy. I mean, that really, I know in the past I said, our kids dated kids from other schools here in Iowa City and Cedar Rapids area, and I don't know how they found out, but that was the one time that you would date somebody from another community, is meeting them at Lake Rathbun on one of the huge beaches.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So, and there was, the sound systems were great.
Well, I was going to when you think, to me, when I think music, summertime, it's like when we're 16, you got the driver's license, then everyone in the area went to the reservoir, to the beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where the soundtrack, I don't remember music at the municipal pools being broadcast, but that's where the soundtrack of summer was. And that's, to your point, where the kids from West High and Solon and outside schools, you'd cross-pollinate with them. There was no social media, no cell phones, none of that. So you only saw them like at the res.
Yeah. Right. So, I tell you what, we run up against this little issue with Spotify and YouTube where we can't play music directly on here because they want royalties. But we'll put together a playlist and share with everybody the playlist, and maybe we'll play some of these here as we go along and make it easy so we can to edit it out later. But John, what are some of your songs of summer?
So AC/DC, Shook Me All Night Long was kind of an anthem that I just associate with driving to the reservoir, load the cooler, get the boys in the car, head out. That song, Sweet Emotion, Aerosmith, that was popular. Yeah. We were really big into ZZ Top. I think the Afterburner. I'm not sure what time of year that came out.
Yes, that's very summer.
Yeah. Legs, and that was
for sure
super popular. And a couple of the other ZZ Tops as well. And then anything Mellencamp. We did. I kind of associate Cherry Bomb as a summer song, but Small Town and all the others were, of course, anthems of our childhood, too.
Yep. We need to have, at some point, do a show totally on the year 1984. Because that is the ZZ Top. That is like it's. I think
MTV was peaking.
Van Halen. 1984 was the absolute premier year for music and
the whole deal.
So much stuff going on with the Olympics and every. I mean, it was just the best year ever. But
the iconic year of the '80s. How about you, Ray?
All right, so I did listen to a lot of music at the swimming pool. A little bit odd, but we listened to the Beach Boys. There was never a time that our family didn't listen to Beach Boys. Okay. My dad always had an 8-track or a cassette or some way to play music in our car. And so like Fun, which was summer, all summer long. But yeah, he had the best of the Beach Boys in there. I like the Billy Idol song, Hot in the City. That's from like 1982. It was a great song. In 85, the Outfield had a song called Your Love.
Oh, yeah.
And this is right in the sweet spot of like
Yeah.
when Pioneer started getting like great sound systems in
Yeah.
cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that entire summer, that song would be
Yeah.
blaring out
Oh, sure.
stereo that Jess is on a vacation
Yep.
far away. You know,
Totally. Yeah.
So those are kind of like, and then sentimentally, I love Bob Seger's Night Moves, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That just, even right now, that takes me back to, you know, before we had devices and other thing to occupy us, to be able to just sit by yourself out by a lake or a reservoir or
Yeah.
something like that and just
Yeah.
be with yourself. That was so awesome. And to hear that song and think, you know,
Yeah.
what he's singing about is me right now,
Yeah.
you know, and now I'm 54 years old and I listen to that song and I can go back right to where I
Yeah.
was when I was
Bob
listening to that
Seger
song.
songs are all just a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they seem like relatable stories, or they
Yeah.
connect on some
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job of capturing the moment of your youth.
For sure.
So, okay, so the two other songs that you guys would never have heard of but mean a lot to me is there's a song Nick Drake sang called Pink Moon, and we've actually been experiencing it for the past 2 nights.
Okay.
The night before last, the night before that
Yeah.
was when it's a full moon and it comes in low on the horizon. And the moon is like a champagne
Yeah.
pink.
Yeah.
And it's just
called
a
Pink
nice,
Moon. Yeah.
it's
like,
just a
like
great,
a harvest moon kind of a thing.
yeah,
but,
and it's
yeah.
great to listen when this, you know, everything's quiet. There's no activity today. Everything's cooled off. I like Pink Moon. That makes me think of summer. And then James Taylor sang a song called "Summer's Here," and that's special because that was in my house. Especially during the summer when we didn't have AC, so all the windows were open and we wouldn't have the TV on, and my parents would have like super minimal lighting on. Like during the winter, they'd have like 3 or 4 lamps
Okay.
on, but during the summer, we would just have one thing on, and there would be James Taylor, like Paul Simon, really kind of quiet
Yeah.
mood music.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of allowed to like be in the house with this
Yeah.
kind of quiet music, and that, but that James Taylor song, "Summer's Here,"
Yeah.
when the first day it was like 74 degrees after a really terrible cold winter, and my mom or dad would play that, you know, like, all right, summer's here.
Yeah.
It's time to like wear the shorts and
Enjoy.
Brad, Rapper's Delight. Did you?
I remember Rapper's Delight.
Yeah, they play that at the Washington Pool.
I don't recall that.
Probably not.
I don't recall that.
Doug shouted from across the way, "Shut that off!
All right.
That R-rated music."
all right,
Yeah.
boys, did you get all your systems?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, everybody, we'll put up Spotify playlist of our summer songs. Becky, thank you for making this quick pick Gen X relatable thing. That's really good topics here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for liking and following us. Kevin, thanks again for being on, man. Hopefully we'll have you on a couple more times. But
If you have not, go back and find Kevin Bird and the one before with Hap and Mike Hay.
Yeah.
Those are 2 really quality storytelling sessions that are worth going back and if you haven't hit them yet.
yep. All right, everybody, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.